Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more. Welcome to Peppershock Media's Marketing Expedition podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in marketing and advertising. Now here's your host, Rhea Allen.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Rhea Allen, President and CEO of Peppershock Media and founder of themarketingexpedition.com. And today I have a treat. We have Paula Orezi with us, and she's an author and a speaker and all kinds of things from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Paula, to the show. Give us a little brief introduction of you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show, by the way. I'm very excited. Again, my name is Paula, and I am the founder of the Paula O Store. And I also manage online the Paula O Store blog. So it just offers free tips and some inspirational content that goes along with some of the mission of what I do.
And you have a degree in organizational management from Palm Beach Atlantic, and then you've got a master's in business and leadership. Tell me about, just kind of give me the journey. Like, where were you and what made you decide to look at those things in your career and your educational career and background? And then what led you to where you are now?
Yeah, so I actually I'm like an adventurous, explorative nature type of personality. So I knew right there and then, I said, okay, I have to do something within business. And I always wanted to kind of look at business from the lens of like the framework, the foundation, what happens when you start building a business, what happens when you manage it. So that explorative nature of mine, actually landed me to become to have a master's degree in the leadership and then also organizational management. So that started my a journey of exploration. And then later on, I just decided, man, I feel like I want to do something of my own that would be able to incorporate some of those skill sets from what I've studied in school. So here I am now. Started the Paula O Store, and there's a lot behind that. Obviously, there's a blog tied to that, but I always like to kind of document my journey. And the journey of that relates to me being in corporate America for the past 18 years and working and just kind of feeling that niche of, man, I know the business side of things. I know how to do the management part, but how do I discover who I'm meant to be in this world and utilize those skill sets at the same time? So I was sitting one day and just kind of sitting in my office as a regional director of a tutoring center and just kept saying, man, I am good enough, and then that started an actual t-shirt. And then that's when I started the Paula O. That's how I founded the Paula O Store, because everyone would say, Paula O, Paula O. And so I used that as a little slang lingo there.
Right.
So here's where I am. This is where I am now. So I just decided to say, okay, I'm wondering how many people are going through some of those limited mindsets of, hey, I'm doing this, but I feel like I can do something more. I feel like I'm meant to do something bigger than myself. Mm-hmm. And so that started that journey of exploring who am I, what am I serving, what purpose do I serve in this world? I was listening to one of the master classes I was listening to 2 weeks ago that says, don't be the world's best kept secret.
Right? That's amazing. So if you now have an audience of listeners, mm-hmm. right? What mm-hmm. is it that they need to know about you? What is the best kept secret? What is it that we can glean? How can we help you? And what can we learn from you?
Yeah, so the things that what I could say definitely is that the mindset has been my biggest area of I have to overcome this. And what you'll realize is that when you overcome your mindset, especially just my journey alone, I realized, man, I can actually create a website. I can actually write a book. I can actually do this and do that. And so I was just so amazed by just the shifting of my mindset, just the shifting of knowing that I'm good enough. And just the knowing that, hey, I'm meant to do more than what I'm doing with my actual hands in terms of corporate America. And I realized that that mindset of mine, me being able to overcome that, actually allowed me to create the Paula O store website. I actually created it from my own, hands, I always say it. And I didn't know anything about anything. So I just had to kind of plow deep and dig deep and realize, okay, I need to do something that will help others that may have the same mindset of, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. How can I start a business? How can I start speaking? How can I start writing a book? So that's where I started to create this Paula O store blog, because some of the contents and tips I find useful to help others as well in their own journey that may have the same limited mindset as well.
So let's talk about the book you wrote. What's it about and who's it for?
Yeah, so I actually have the poetry book is more of a motivational poetry book. I always compare it to when you're reading a book, you read one good book, right? You read it for the first time or second time. But when you read poetry, for some reason, every time you're reading a poem, it's like it speaks to you in that season. Even if it's 10 years from now, it's still that poem. You grab that poem, you're like, oh, I need that poem. That speaks to something that I want to talk to somebody about, or I want to send this poem to somebody because it speaks into exactly what I'm feeling. So that's my first book that I wrote and a couple of years ago, very helpful as well. And then I have this wonderful book that's coming up, and I'm being featured as a co-author along with other 15 authors. It's called the Women's Empowerment Expert Influencers book. And what it is that there are several women who's expert at influences in their own mission fields and so forth, and helping other people to step into their power, into their shine. So it really spoke volumes to me because of my journey of, just going through the mindset and fighting through that belief system of, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. And then also helping people to dream big and not be afraid to tell their stories and shine from there. So being part of this book and the project has been very inspirational, met a lot of great women, and we're launching it literally on this week on Wednesday, June 10th. And it's going to be exciting to see the people that will be touched. Thank you.
That's amazing. Okay, so for those who are listening, and how can they get their hands on this book? Where will they be able to log in and get it?
Oh, yes. So on my actual social media, I will be posting the link on there because it's going to be featured on Amazon. But once they go at Paula O Store via Instagram or Facebook, they'll be able to see that link there and be able to click. And the good thing about it is for the first 24 hours, it'll be $1. So they can download the Kindle version. That doesn't mean they have to have a Kindle device. They can simply download the Kindle version and be able to start digging deep into some of those nuggets that they'll receive.
Oh, I'll have to do that. And it's Paula with just the letter O, not H-O-O-H or anything like that. Just Paula O. Simple. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
Paula O Store.
Paula
I know,
O
I keep forgetting it. Paula O Store.
Yeah. Well, because you can spell O, I guess, differently. So I wanted to clarify for the listeners for that, for sure. We'll put
I know, I always say
it. So what are some of the success stories of people that you've worked with before as a result of you really pivoting and just changing your mindset and going out on your own? Tell me some of the people that you've worked with now.
Oh man, I've started from within. My friends, I actually have a friend who just specifically had the same journey as myself. Got his degree and saying, okay, this is it, and then felt that nudge of there's more to me. I know there's more to me, and I've got to do more. And we would meet up through coffee. So I sort of told her, I'd let her know, hey, I think I'm serving as your mentor at this point since we're meeting a lot.
Right.
And so she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Here's what my issues are, and here's what I'm trying to do. And you can already hear from her, just the conversation alone is just the mindsets that she's bought into that have stopped her from actually exploring who she really was meant to be and how she can contribute to serve others. And so as we were talking through our actual, just like, hey, this is your mindset right now, and this is what you need to do to limit that. And you need to start doing this. Like, it's like that baby step. You help people to get the baby step because you're saying, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that. They're going to go home and like, okay, I don't even know. That scares me me already.
Right.
So,
They might feel overwhelmed or there's just, there's maybe some accountability though too, right? You can help kind of be their accountability partner in a way. Yeah. Very cool.
Yes. Yeah. And so she began to start playing around with some architectural things that she has a degree in architect, but she really was kind of limiting herself in terms of starting her own business to do her own work. And so I let her know, hey, start a portfolio and start doing some sketches and drawings and start working and talking to other folks of what you, hey, can I help you with your project? And give them an idea of what you could do to help their project become what they want. And she did that. And literally within 2-3 months, she said, hey, can you come to a trip? Can you take a trip with me? We went to take the trip, and lo and behold, she shared with me, and she allowed me to be part of that, is that she had a client that she booked on her own, and she showcased all of the things that she put on paper to, like, it literally came to life. We're in this beautiful little coffee shop that she had a big part of, and the client was so happy with her. And I was so shocked because I honestly didn't think she was going to really do it. But
awesome.
I was shocked in a good way because I have this thing, and they know me very well, the people I've worked with, is that I have this voice of you have to be determined, and I don't do it softly. I'm a very firm and go-getter voice mentality. It's kind of like that coach with the whistle. And I can't take excuses. So you're gonna catch them if they're not sitting up straight. You're gonna make sure that they are, right? Making sure that they take the right path. Of course, yeah. And just telling them and encouraging them that, hey, you have her in particular. Just, hey, you have a purpose in life. Your story is not by accident. Your experiences all tie up to something that you're gonna be serving to others in a way that will be, obviously you can scale it if you want, but you're going to help someone else by your expertise or your skill sets, your gifts and talents and abilities. So she was able to do that. And now she has her own business, and she has her portfolio growing. So I'm excited for her.
That's amazing. So who have been your mentors and your helpers along the way? How did you said it's from within, but let's share a little bit about those who maybe have supported you in your journey.
Oh, yes. So my mother has been a very big supporter of my journey. She's passed away, unfortunately, last year, 2019, from cancer. But she has always been my supporter. She's always been the encouragement. She's always saying, hey, go do this. And she had a side hustle as well. She just never worked for corporate only. She had a side hustle. So she was my motivation. Also, I do have mentors in my life that are in my church community that I share 2 or 3 visions with them. And they support me by checking in, by saying, hey, how are you doing? What can I do to help you? A lot of it would be maybe tips, maybe feedback from stuff that I'm starting and initiating, so that they can say, hey, maybe you should do it this way or that way. And also, they serve as a mentor of encouragement as well. There's only so much you can do to encourage yourself. You do need people. And at some point, I had to say, okay, you know what? I need more than 1 or 2 people. I need maybe 3 people to help me along because, the world is a big landscape. So
right. So what are some maybe resources or things that you found helpful to you along the way as you started this journey and have taken this path now? What are some things that you could share with others that maybe they want to go through this journey just like you? What kind of things have you tapped into that have been really helpful to you?
I've tapped into a lot of podcasts with other folks expressing their journey as well. I've had experiences of going through master classes. Some master classes, they would discuss how-tos in terms of starting this and starting a business and marketing it and how to express yourself through the brand and how to, make yourself presentable to have an offer be presented to you, to speak into for a television platform or something of that nature. So I've done a lot of those, like, hey, what am I doing every week that I can learn from someone else, whether it be through their masterclass, whether it be through a content article from their website. So I found those things very useful.
Who makes the best client for you?
The best client for me would be people who definitely need that inspiration to start their own business. They need to overcome a certain mindset. They need ability to have the organizational part of it. How can I be organized doing it along the way? So those are my typical clients, is folks who really want to have more than just doing something with their physical hands in corporate America, but they have a desire and passion for something else, something more than themselves that will serve others.
And since we are talking about a marketing journey and the Marketing Expedition podcast, tell me about some of the things that you did to help propel your business. And you know, you wrote a book, but tell me, what are some tactics or some things that you did to help you gain new clients and get your brand out there?
Oh, I've done quite a few things. I've done little video clips that kind of promote certain aspects of my business. For example, I have the part of my business, the Paula O store portion of it would be like branded products. And so I have little small video clips that I've created using just a small iMovie, and kind of putting it out there as a little, like, how could I say it? Like the cherry, just waving the cherry in front of someone.
Right.
And then I've also just being guest on some podcast shows that I feel align with the brand and the mission of what I'm trying to showcase out to the world. And also myself, I've used other platforms such as Pinterest and Facebook and Instagram, and kind of creating some cool, unique, small bits of content, some snippets from content that I've created on my blog to be able to bring people back to the website to explore more of Paula O.
Right.
So just kind of giving that little.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you done things like promoted posts, or have you doubled down on digital lately due to COVID, or have you done anything that you hadn't done before that you've done now because of COVID?
Well, I've definitely promoted some posts. I think the newest adventure for me was Pinterest, because I was a little nervous about Pinterest, but in one of the master classes that I attended, they were like, hey, you don't know, Pinterest is like the best kept secret, and you know, this is how you should do it, and you should kind of it's like grabbing bits and pieces from your website to put it out there and kind of grab people back to the website. So it's like sprinkling some crumbs through various marketing platforms so that it can eventually, people follow the crumbs back to the main source, you know.
I like that.
And then I actually, the interesting part of it is that for some of the content that I've created, especially on the blog, is that I would create things that are in the season. For example, 10 tips to work from home, or how to successfully, be organized, while you're working from home, and so forth like that. So just kind of creating things that are seasonal based. And then also I did during this COVID, which is interesting, I created an online, this is like a mini course. I used a platform, teachable platform, which allows you to create mini courses, how-to videos, expertise videos. And so what I did was I kind of created like a mini online store that's designed to help people to kind of go out and come from that after they're going through the video instructor type of style, that they're able to walk away with an actual action plan, because everyone wants to be successful. Everyone wants to start something, but it's more of, it starts in the mind, the building blocks of those businesses or anything that they're going to start. It all starts on laying that firm foundation on the mindset level. So I was able to create a mini course, which is interesting. I was shocked myself.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so people can go to the Paula O store website and see your mini course that you created. Yeah, that's great.
Yes, and I love it because everything is literally, I love the website that I have is more like that one-stop shop where you can see the products that are mission, that are part of the brand and the mission, and also the online courses, and also being able to meet who I am and some of the things I've done. So it's all like kind of like that one-stop shop of this journey of mine, but then also helping them to have some of the resources as well. So it's very exciting because, like I said, this is a journey that I'm still kind of obviously on, but I'm having fun doing it. And I encourage people to have adventure while they're on their journey as well, and not make it boring.
Right. I know, I was just looking at your website. I see you've got some poetry, some paintings. It looks like some drawings. Now, are those drawings that you've created yourself?
Yes.
Wow, you're very talented. We'll have to make sure we encourage people to go to paulaostore.com. But there's all kinds of good little nuggets and things in here. This is amazing. So now kind of post-COVID, as things come, you know, to our new normal, what do you think you're going to do differently now than what you had maybe done before to help build your brand and your bottom line?
What am I going to do differently? Boy, let's see. I think I really want to start getting into like more of the platform of television and more of the platform of kind of how can I visually show my face to the world. I've been doing a lot of the podcasting, been doing a lot of the kind of behind the scenes, but more so now being exploratory of what can I do to have this message out to the world, like have this service, this content, our brand be out to the world. Because my goal, realistically, the goal is to be a global influencer, but then also helping influencers be influencers in their community. So, because my motto and my brand motto is to be a change agent. So anything and everything that I'm doing, I need to be doing that. So hopefully I can scale enough to do that.
How has the Black Lives Matter, how has that impacted you?
Oh, that's impacted me significantly. It's almost like when you see something like that, it impacts me as an African American because I'm affected by it, by my culture, by my race. And so when I do, one thing I will say is that one thing I can appreciate for the Black Lives Matter is that they are standing up obviously for injustice, but as myself, I stand up for any source of injustice. So it doesn't matter what race or cultural, differences there are. It's just injustice for me is injustice. And so one thing that I've realized is over the time is that a lot of the businesses that are owned by African American or that are started by African Americans, that's been coming up to this forefront where people are supporting it and going forward and helping people out. And so you see this sense of community, and you don't see it just within African American. You see it within the Caucasian, the Asians. And so it's different now because everyone's kind of together for this main injustice of towards a Black man. So for me, it's affected me because of the fact that there is some, obviously, inequality as it relates to the system, right? So there's system created to help, but some systems are not created to help everyone equally, if I should say it like that.
Well, and you being the change agent that you are, and because you have organizational management and all of these things inherently within you, I can imagine your work and the mindset changing work that you do, I can see this in your future being a significant impact for you, for those who need to have a mindset change in multiple different versions, or even if it's an internal mindset or an external mindset or a cultural mindset for corporate America versus, even small businesses, right? Do you see that, do you see your work impacted moving forward? Is it going to impact the type of work that you get to do you think?
Oh my goodness, of course. I think this is the season, I love that this is the pivotal season because my brand is surrounded by being yourself. And being yourself meaning accepting who you are, accepting your cultural differences, accepting that, hey, I have this skill set and you have this skill set, and I don't need to be this way so that I can achieve things. I need to be myself so I can achieve more. And I think being the change agent of changing your mindset with regards to, everyone's getting emotionally involved with the, with the pollution of things, but no one's involved with the solution. And more, it's like, okay, so here we are, but what steps can we take to get where we want to be, that desired end goal? And a lot of those little steps are going to require some uncomfortable things, such as conversations, such as supporting others that we might not have supported in the past. So it's really going to be a change of a lot that has to do with your mind and a lot that has to do with what you would normally be doing in relations to your own community, because everyone's so used to certain things. But now this post-COVID and this whole Black Lives Matter and all of this stuff that has happened recently, it's going to change the landscape of how we do community, the landscape of how we do business, right? And the landscape of how we treat others to give them fair opportunities.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And the landscape of whether people will work from home or work from an office, or if they're commuting or not. We were earlier just talking about how, you know, the average length of a podcast is 20 to 30 minutes because that's the average commute time. Well, you know, now the commute times are from my living room to my kitchen, or, you know, I mean, definitely there's going to be so many things, you know, good and bad, that have resulted from COVID and just the world of change that's happening. And hopefully it'll all be changed for the better, right?
Oh yeah, and I definitely think that like this COVID, this whole season, I should say, created the platform of, hey, hello, online world.
Right.
We can live in the online community now. We may not necessarily be able to be in person with each other because of social distancing, but hey, we have an online community of people that are able to express themselves without limitations of having to be somewhere physically. Or so, because social media, the power of social media, the power of being online, I've seen, obviously anyone has seen an increase and a jump of that. So this is the time to really start taking an initiative to do something online, that's for sure, and growing and you know, using your voice in that world.
Absolutely. I know that's how we met, is online, right? Doing our online, you know, communication and networking with other women and on the Veranda Network. And yeah, so I absolutely think that there's something to be said about meeting online and doing virtual meetups these days, and, you know, Zoom or GoToMeeting, all of the Google Hangouts, all the different platforms that people are using now. Yeah, I know. Had I thought to put stock in Zoom, you know, I don't even know if they're publicly traded. I should look into that, but yeah, right.
I was saying that too, because you can have your party pajamas and you can have a nice little top. So I've learned the secret of getting ready for meetings, video meetings.
Yeah. And you can do meetings anywhere, you know, I mean, right now we're in the midst of moving from one house to the other, and, you know, you can have an internet connection. You can work pretty much remotely anywhere you've got internet, right?
Yes, exactly. You do more, you know, online, and you do more online, and you get more from online, and with less commuting, less having to use your in-person. I mean, I love in-person, but you do get more achieved online. Click the send button. And
totally.
The like button.
I mean, we and my staff, thank goodness we had started using the Google Cloud prior to this, not knowing that that's why we were doing it, really. I mean, we wanted to back things up on the cloud so we could work remotely, and we've been working remotely, you know, one day a week. My staff could work flexibly, you know, one day a week, but then it kind of turned into all days a week. And so now we're just, you know, used to just doing Zoom and being able to be that way. So it's nice though, but for authors and speakers, you know, even though gigs were canceled, but you can still do virtual events anywhere. Are you planning to do virtual speaking gigs now that this has kind of opened up the opportunity?
Oh, glad you mentioned it. That's one thing I wanted to say towards the previous question about what to do afterwards. It's definitely going to be more involved in that. There's an opportunity to not have to travel and get into the mix of airports and delays, and all you have to do is just log in and just here you are. So I am definitely going to be exploring that.
Very cool. Yes, we've definitely built some speaker reels for people and done some, you know, Zoom virtual events that kind of were originally supposed to be regular events, or, you know, in-person events, whichever let's say live events, I guess. Well, even live events you can now do virtually. So however in-person events, there you go. And now
I know, which is interesting because you're in person, literally.
Yes,
virtually.
Exactly. Physically in person, right? Yeah, and I can't call it FaceTime because there's an app for that, but you know, where you're like, you know, and you can't even shake hands. So, you know, elbow to elbow. How about that? We're elbow to elbow to person. But oh, Paula, this has been such a great time talking with you, and I'm sure we'll ask you back at some point for the Marketing Expedition podcast show. But any final thoughts or just anything else that you'd like the listeners to know about you, about mindset, about what we're all experiencing right now? Anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I definitely want to encourage listeners to know that, yes, this is the season of shutting down, and everyone feels shut down. Everything feels like on a halt, especially if you were starting something. But don't let that stop you, because now we just discussed about how there's virtual online communities that you can join, and that you could still gain that helper, you could still gain that opportunity and tools that you need to be able to start your business and to be able to get your product started. So I would definitely say to people, do not feel discouraged. The season of shutdown does not mean you have to shut down. You're here for a purpose. you have to go ahead and tell your story to someone, and you have all of the tools online to be able to do that. So no excuses.
Excellent. Okay, one more time, give everyone how they can communicate with you, what your Insta handle and all of, and Pinterest too, right? Tell us how we get in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so you can visit my online blog. It's paulaostore.com, and that's Paula O with just the letter O store. Everything is on there with my Instagram feed in there and the online course I was referring to and some of the content articles that were quite encouraging. Also for Instagram, at Paula O Store. And also for Facebook, you'd find me by just going to at Paula O Store as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us, Paula. And thank you to our listeners of the Marketing Expedition podcast. And just one more thing from us. If you are interested in learning more about marketing, you can visit themarketingexpedition.com and join us there. All right. Thanks, Paula, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And we'll again talk soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Find more online at Peppershock.com. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.